before we get into this week's college picks, we're going to do a quick recap of last week, starting off with Jake. How'd your 2 picks go?
1-1 last week. I nailed the Minnesota Ohio State game. Minnesota only kicked the field goal, and like we said, Ohio State's defense is just too good right now. Still giving up less than 5 points now. So that one hit. Fortunately, James Madison, Georgia State. James Madison decided to lay a goose egg for the first 3 quarters of the game, and then finally score 14 in the fourth quarter to win the game 14-7. Really underperformed that game, but is what it is.
All right. And Nick, how did your 2 go?
Also went 1-1. Texas at Florida. Florida decided to score. They decided to play some football. Texas lost 21-29. SEC might be in trouble for the playoffs. They're trying to get some teams in. The other one we won was Boise State at Notre Dame. I had Notre Dame minus 20.5. They ended up winning slim margin 28-7. So barely squeezed out the 20.5. But what I thought.
So it works.
Very nice. And my week was an 0-2 week. Not happy about it. I took 2 overs, 2 big overs in big matchups.
Yeah.
Were very disappointing. I did Miami at FSU over 53.5, and FSU just could not score on Miami's defense enough, and it just kind of got out of hand. And FSU is showing they need their games to be a little bit tighter so they can run the ball more. They definitely can't keep just throwing it if you're able to stop the run. Vanderbilt at Bama, I thought early that this was going to be a lock. I thought Vandy was moving, but a couple of stupid turnovers that cost points, and then the game just got off the rails for Vandy, and they couldn't keep up. So 0-2, we'll be bouncing back this week. And now we're going into week 7 of the college football season, and we'll be starting with Jake's picks.
All right. Well, we're going to be consistent this week with some of these top performing teams. We're going to go number 1, Ohio State minus 14.5 at Illinois who's number 17. Ohio State's a wagon right now. Illinois, they did win last week, but top 25 matchups. They lost to Cignetti early in the year, and they got absolutely dismantled. I kind of see the game going the exact same way. Illinois is not going to score a lot. Ohio State just has to be mediocre on offense, and they'll score 10, 14 points a half. And they should win no problem by 2 scores.
Yeah, no, I don't hate that one. I definitely think Illinois, they looked good against USC last week, but they gave up 30 points, and them against Indiana is kind of all I needed to see as far as like you guys just aren't there's levels to it, and Ohio State I think is going to show it. I think the 14.5 is also like a nod to that as well, where it's like, yeah, we don't think your 2 scores bad, but I think that's a number where Vegas is still trying to see, are they a 3-score deficit or a 2-score? They don't know yet. And I think it's definitely a 3. Like 17 is pretty comfortable to me in that spot.
Second pick is number 7 Indiana at number 3 Oregon. I'm going Indiana Moneyline here. Both coming off of bye weeks. Both teams. They both played top 25 opponents 2 weeks ago. Oregon with Penn State, Indiana with Iowa. Sig only scored 20 points in that game against Iowa, and they left some points out on the board. I think Oregon, on the other hand, has kind of still given up points to pretty much every team that's a good team. Now, they beat up on the weaker teams, as they should. But I think Indiana, they've shown they score points. Their average is still up in the 40s. So I'm not really concerned about them scoring points against Oregon. If Penn State and that atrocious offense can put up more than 20 and go to overtime with Oregon, I think Indiana can definitely hold their own. And he's due for one. He doesn't win a lot of these big game matchups. He beats the lower-ranked top 25 teams, but when it comes to these top 10 teams, it's a little bit different. He did play Illinois earlier, and they were ranked the top 10, but too early for that one. Yeah. I just think he's due. One of these Big Ten matchups against these big powerhouse schools, he's going to get one of them, and I don't see why he doesn't get Oregon right here.
I'll tell you why, Dante Moore.
Dude's a dog.
I think Oregon has the Heisman winner, and I think Dante Moore has his Heisman moment in this game. I think they're going to put up a lot of points against Indiana. Just like Matt said earlier with Ohio State and Illinois, there's levels. I think there are absolutely levels to number 3 and number 7. I think Indiana's going to be very good. I think they're going to put up a lot of points, but I don't think they're going to stop Oregon. I think Dante Moore is going to put like 5 touchdowns on the board.
He might.
That's just my opinion. That's what I think.
He
I
might.
think
No,
he's gonna
it's definitely more of a feel.
Well, I
for
definitely think
I mean,
sure.
that's just kind of how that goes. I mean, I wanted to take the over like I normally do with Indiana,
What
but
was it?
it
is
was
it
like
over
55
60.
and a half. It was almost, yeah,
Okay. I'm
so
gonna
it was up
say
there. I just,
because I'd
they've
give
shown that they can
Illinois,
hit the under.
yeah, but I'd give Illinois a better shot at, or Indiana a better shot at scoring points than stopping Oregon or outscoring Oregon. I think if it's a shootout, it's going to come down to quarterback play and skill players. And I still think Indiana doesn't have the dogs like Oregon. I think he's getting
The
there.
quarterback is slinging it
He's
around.
doing great, but he's not. No one's talking about him in the Heisman.
Well, it's because Indiana, so they still don't
They're
consider
getting the
them
voice though. I
great.
mean, they're number 7.
You
They're
could,
the rank
I
7.
mean,
They're getting
yeah,
respect.
they're ranked 7. This team is putting up a bunch of points every week. I mean,
Hey,
I don't
we will
know.
see. And you know what? This can absolutely be on your ticket, and it will be real nice if this hits. But
Well, Jake,
for
there's a reason. I
Howard,
mean, there's a reason
Plus
one's
250.
250 and
that's
one's minus
nice.
10, 110.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you take that alone. Don't even put
because
that on a parlay.
I'll take Ohio State because their defense is so good. Illinois can't
their
stop
defense is
them.
great.
Yeah.
Illinois' defense isn't there, so Ohio State's offense
I
will
mean,
score and the
Indiana
defense
held
will
them to
shut them
7
down.
points early in
That's
the
what I'm
year.
saying.
If
Yeah,
Indiana can hold them to 7,
They're not
you
going
know,
to score.
yeah.
yeah, no way.
All right, so we're in
All right,
agreement. We're
we'll
going to
go
take
with
Ohio
Ohio
State.
State. Yeah,
it's
that's
a good
fine.
Yeah,
pick.
absolutely. All right,
We're
so now
gonna
we're gonna
head
go
up.
your 2 picks, Nick. We got your 2 picks.
Yep, I got mine right here. We're going to head to Neyland Stadium up in Knoxville. Tennessee minus 12.5 against Arkansas. Tennessee should put up a lot of points in this game. A lot of points. I was debating on taking Tennessee over their points or just taking the minus 12.5. Their points are 40. 40 is a lot, and
Just for Tennessee?
just Tennessee. But they haven't scored less than 40 all year in the game.
They're
Well,
and they're 5-0 on overs in their games, largely because of them.
Yeah, I mean they literally don't. They haven't scored less than 40. Arkansas is coming off of a bye week, and then their previous game was 2 weeks ago against Notre Dame. They lost 56-13 at home. I think Tennessee's just as good. I think they're going to score a lot of points. Tennessee just beat a really good Mississippi State team, and next week they have Bama. I think they want to
make sure they get the
put
win.
this game out. Yeah, I think they want to
rest
put
your
this game
guys.
out. Rest your guys. I think they're going to blow Arkansas out.
Yeah, I mean, just watch. We bet on them a couple weeks ago with Arkansas and Notre Dame, or as far as the over, we looked at it, and watching that game, it's a track meet with them. Like they give up big plays, and Tennessee loves taking shots. So yeah, I definitely love Tennessee. They're, like I said, 5-0 with the overs. They just score.
It's funny too because new quarterback, so it's like
dropped right in.
You know it's the OC. That means it's the OC. It's the offense.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see, especially for points. Yeah, I like that one. What's the next one, Nick?
The other one, this is another weird one. I don't think they're getting a lot of respect. I really don't. I'm taking Iowa State minus 2.5 at Colorado. They're coming off of a loss at Cincinnati. It was a 1-score game. Deion's got health issues. I don't know how much he's really coaching. I know they got a good coaching staff over there, and I think Colorado stinks. Their quarterback there is interceptions. They turn the ball over. I don't think 2.5 is enough, even though it's at Colorado. I think Iowa State is still a pretty good football team. They just lost one game. I think that's why it's only 2.5.
Yeah, and that was a game that people kind of felt something was up with Iowa State, seeing that the spread, even though they were the ranked opponent.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, so it definitely.
I didn't understand at the time, but the sports books knew, so
it made sense after the game.
No, so I absolutely agree with that. And that quarterback, I think he was at Liberty last year. He's a transfer. He was at Liberty last year, and I thought he was going to be fine because I liked him at Liberty, but it hasn't worked out. And they've even tried benching him. This is like they went back to him. So anytime a quarterback's anytime that happens with organizations, so you really don't have a guy at all.
No,
if you're bouncing around. So I like that.
I don't know how much Deion's really coaching this week. He was having a couple things with his legs. He had a couple blood clots. I mean, hope he's all right, but
they've definitely lost a little bit of their shine.
Edge. Well, without Shedeur,
no Travis Hunter,
without Travis Hunter,
yeah, it's less publicity.
Very different.
Yeah, it's now hype is much lower, and now it's just about you just producing. And that's a little bit tougher for them, especially with all these organizations, like all these programs just spending money now. It's like you're just competing with big wallets. Like if Texas Tech is going to load their roster up, it's no longer the names and the brand, it's also money. So it's definitely a different dynamic, different world.
I'm leaning Tennessee 12.5. I don't want to be anywhere near the Colorado game just because they're so bad.
Stay away from Big
When you
12.
look at
Stay
them,
away from the Big
but
12.
it's also just like it's just weird. Plus, they're at home, and if Dion is having health issues, sometimes kids can rally. I mean, everybody they all
I
love
thought about that
Dion.
too, but
The coaches are going to be a little bit harder on him, especially they just lost last week, right? I'm pretty sure they just lost again.
yeah,
So they're 2-4, so
they stink.
they're having a tough. Yeah, I think they stink, but it doesn't mean they can't show up every now and then. I mean, they still have some decent players for recruiting purposes. Sooner or later they got to have some type of a good game. I just don't like it.
Yeah, no, I love Tennessee as well, so I'm good with that.
And I'm all on Tennessee as well, so I'm right there with you guys. So awesome. We can lock in 12.5 Tennessee for our second pick.
We took it at 12.5. I don't know if that's how it'll be game time, but
they
lock it
do
in
swing.
12.5 right
They
now.
do swing after we post these.
After we post, for sure.
It is usually after we post.
Very heavy on the movement.
No, it is funny how the line moves that much. I notice it every week when we post that there's always different from when we actually took our picks. But now moving on to my two picks. My first one is going to be at USC, and I'm taking USC minus 2.5 over number 15 Michigan. This is similar to what we kind of talk about with Iowa State last week at Cincinnati. It's, the unranked team is favored. And I do think USC just has some serious dogs on offense. I think this is going to get into a shootout. And I don't trust Underwood in shootout games. I trust them when the game's close. Maybe they can just out talent teams. But if it comes down to you need to answer constantly, I just don't trust him as a freshman quarterback that hasn't shown it yet compared to USC, who has 3 studs. They have a stud quarterback, running back, and receiver that are just putting up crazy stats. They lost in a shootout last week with Illinois, but I do think in a shootout, that's definitely plays more to USC's favor. And I kind of noticed it with Penn State traveling last week. Traveling over to that coast, we talk about it. Teams
These
from
are college kids.
Yeah, we talk about Cali kids going to the Big Ten games, like how that's an advantage for Big Ten. I think it also works the other way around. And Michigan going out there to USC, it's a totally different animal out there. And I think it's a good spot for USC to get a big win under their belt and show everyone that they're legit.
I completely agree. Yeah, going over the other coast. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago with Ohio State going to Washington, even though they won that. Yeah, it's super, super difficult.
Handedly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They did, but they don't play typically like they talked about. They made it a thing about
different.
We don't play well
different
over
style
here.
teams.
Yeah.
No, they got a couple year guy with Sayin in Ohio State. He's not a freshman. He's been there a couple years, I'm pretty sure. And Ohio State's defense is a lot different than Michigan's defense. They still they'll still giving up more than 20 points a game. It's not like they're shutting teams out.
So yeah, that's my first one. And the second one's kind of in a similar boat. And we're going with Texas minus 1.5 at home against number 6 Oklahoma, the Red River Rivalry. And similar thing where the home team is favored, even though the ranked team is clearly better. But I do think that quarterback situation at Oklahoma, Haskins didn't look great against Kent State, and Kent is just terrible. So I think it's a totally different animal for him getting his one start against a really bad team and then having to face Texas's defense, where he's not Lagway. I know a lot of us kind of thought that Florida was going to get beat by Texas last week, and it was kind of a big upset, but at least Lagway has shown he has those games in him. He is a guy that's projected to be an NFL guy. Haskins for Oklahoma, watched him last year. He just can't throw it well enough. And I think Texas is really going to make him throw and not going to let him escape the pocket and just ruin the game running the ball. And I know Arch has looked like shit. They still put up 21 points on Florida. And I think it's bad. And I'm not really holding out hope that he's going to play great, but I think he can play well enough to win this game by a field goal. He can win ugly. I think Texas can win an ugly game by 3 points. Largely because I don't think Oklahoma is going to move the ball enough, and I think Arch can move it enough. Is essentially, sadly, that's where we're at. Is I think that he can do enough offensively.
Is this, you mentioned, is he one of the two quarterbacks from Oklahoma last year?
Yes.
All
It
right,
was him and Arnold for Auburn.
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
He was the true freshman last year. They'd bring him in, he'd drop back and just take off. It wasn't even a thought. And last week against Kent State, I think he missed 12 to 15 throws.
No
Like
signs of growth.
he still threw 3 touchdowns, but the completion percentage.
It's Kent State.
Exactly. And they were probably 3 bombs. It was just deep
Yeah,
balls
it
where
was
they were
probably, my
wide
guy's
open.
better than you.
Was he the
Yeah.
one who threw his dude into the brick wall?
Ooh, was it that game?
Maybe. I didn't see.
I
It was
saw
that
that.
last
He
week.
got knocked out.
Yeah, this is Haskins. This is his quarterback.
He threw that 10 yards past the end zone. And that dude smacked that wall.
He swung this pick for me because I was going to take Oklahoma until I was diving into the actual starter. I was like, oh, that is the guy from last year. No, thank you.
Just like Cincinnati was favored last week. There's a reason that these teams are favored in the sports books now. I trust the sports books way more than these AP poll voters.
And more than my own eyes. Because even though I think Arch has looked bad and whatnot, they clearly see that there is a drop off in where Oklahoma's at right now that people maybe aren't seeing. And yeah, I think that the Red River Rivalry, like that's a big ass game. There's already a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, and if you already aren't the starter, you can't really throw well. It just doesn't bode well for Oklahoma. They need to win this game like 13-10, and I just don't see that. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, so I'm definitely favoring Texas -1.5. I think.
Oh, we're all the way back.
I think for me,
I'm waffling here. I don't know which one to go with.
Let's go Arch.
Hey, we said 3 weeks ago we ain't touching Texas again.
Jake, I think that Oklahoma. I know, right? I think that Oklahoma quarterback is bad. Yeah, he's the dude that
he's going to out Arch.
I mean, it's a bigger game. I mean, it's more marquee. You know, I mean,
you got to look at the quarterbacks. Underwood is definitely much better than this Oklahoma quarterback. Yeah. So like, I know we don't think Underwood. He could. Like he's supposed to be that guy.
He has
like,
exactly.
He's supposed to ball out. Yeah. I don't think this dude will against Texas. Texas has a very good defense. Plus, they just played at Florida. Florida is a very tough place to play.
Yeah, and they're coming. It's a bad loss for them, and I do think this is a make or break week for them, as opposed to USC. It'd be a great win for them. It would vault them into consideration, but Texas, they're dead. You lose this game, you guys are done.
I mean, they're already dead.
I think also
they ain't winning out.
I think Penn State losing to UCLA also heightens a little bit for Michigan.
I agree. So we're locking in Texas -1.5. Then we got Tennessee -12.5. And lastly, Ohio State -14.5. That is the 3 final leg parlay that we have this week.